I think if President Trump were to invoke the Insurrection Act for these specific cases and for this specific enforcement power, I think America would be behind him.
And I have never heard of one law enforcement agency not helping another when they call for help.
It's such a, oh, what a dumb question. Grassley is making an announcement on the FBI oversight of Arctic Fox we just discussed with Congressman Wesley Hunt. Let's listen in.
That we can find for the solicitation of these telephone records, which I think emphasizes the political weaponization that was behind all this effort. And we're still getting more information, but we've released some records today, and I'll let Senator Johnson.
Jack Smith didn't just go after Trump. He went after sitting United States senators. I don't know which one should piss you off more, but Trump was right about everything. He said that the only thing standing in the way between them and you is him. The FBI secretly spied on Republican lawmakers, and now thanks to Kash Patel, Senator Grassley, the lid is blown wide open. This is a scandal they hoped you would never hear about. This makes Watergate look like a puddle. Folks, what we're looking at is not just a political scandal. This is a constitutional earthquake. The FBI, under Jack Smith's direction, secretly subpoenaed phone records and communications from sitting Republican senators. You can see them here: Tommy Tuberville, Marsha Blackburn, Ron Johnson, Grassley, and a number of others. Little thing called Operation Arctic Frost. That's what they called it. Lindsey Graham, Josh Hawley, Ron Johnson, Marsha Blackburn, all targeted like enemies of the state for the crime of asking questions on January 6th. And for the last 101 nights, it has been a January 6th type event in Portland, but nobody's saying a damn thing about that, are they? Let's finish up a little bit of this clip here. I want you to hear what they say right from the horse's mouth.
Take over from here, and then each one of you colleagues can join in when you want to, whatever you want to say.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Senator Grassley. It is because of his relentless advocacy for whistleblowers that a lot of this information is surfacing right now. We wouldn't know about the list of 100 Republican entities that were targeted by Jack Smith's Arctic Frost investigation. I don't think we know about this as well. So we need whistleblowers. I think Dan Bongino and other folks in the FBI, they don't know where all the records are hidden. They still don't. They're not necessarily getting 100% cooperation. But this is outrageous what has happened. I just want to give you a timeline of this. I think you've already got the FBI sheet that shows the number of members of Congress that were targeted. Representative Kelly, Senators Graham, Haggerty, Hawley, Sullivan, Tuberville, myself, Senator Lummis, and Blackburn. Now, this memo was dated September of 2023. To put it all into context, the Mar-a-Lago raid occurred in August of 2022. Jack Smith announced the indictments against President Trump in August of 2023. So this is almost 2 months later. They're casting this net, this fishing expedition against members of the Senate and the House. Again, I've been investigating this with Senator Grassley. This doesn't surprise me, but it should shock every American of what the Biden administration has done. And by the way, this is the first time I was targeted by the FBI. Under the Obama administration, the same thing happened to both Senator Grassley and I. As part of the Foreign Influence Task Force, we were giving a briefing to try and convince us that the Hunter Biden laptop was no big deal. Basically, trying to throw us off the track.
Now are you starting to understand what's going on here? Guys, this is absolute corruption at the highest level. Many of you have lost faith in law enforcement. Many of you have lost faith in our government. Many of you have lost faith in the Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, hell, the IRS. I have lost faith in the Salvation Army at this point because I think it's probably a money laundering scheme for the Democrat Party, allegedly. We know Act Blue is, running a lot of this stuff. But I would love to get your opinion on what you think about this. But here's the headlines. This is directly from Kash Patel. recently uncovered proof that phone records of U.S. lawmakers were seized for political purposes. The abuse of power ends now. Under my leadership, the FBI will deliver truth, accountability, and never be weaponized against the American people again. Now, for a long time, I questioned Kash Patel's delayed actions. I wanted immediate arrest from day one. As soon as he was sworn in, and I'm sure many of you wanted the same damn thing. But I have never thought the level of corruption would reach this pinnacle. But now we know why this is taking a while. Because there are multiple tiers of corruption that are preventing the actual, what I would say, investigations. And now we have all of these judicial appointed, these judges that were appointed by Obama and Biden to run as roadblocks, to run as like stopgaps for all of this, to delay. Leave a comment down below what you think about this. I'm going to show you another little piece of information here that I believe is very relevant. Here is the FBI document that was released and dated September the 27th, 2023, just a little over 2 years ago. This was leading up right during the heart of re-election. Look at that. Special agent. They redacted the name of the special agent. It's nice that they did that. Conducted preliminary toll analysis on limited tolls records associated with the following U.S. senators: Mike Kelly, Lindsey Graham, Bill Hagerty, Josh Hawley, Dan Sullivan, Tommy Tuberville, Ron Johnson, Cynthia Loomis, and Marsha Blackburn. Marsha Blackburn's about to run and become the next governor of Tennessee. Now, this should scare the living hell out of everyone because this is just what we know. Trump said they were monitoring his phone calls in Trump Tower. Now we know that it was right. Why wouldn't they have been? Why would they be monitoring these I wouldn't say low-level senators, elected senators, and not be monitoring a presidential candidate, Donald Trump? That's who they arrested. Remember that? They wanted nothing more than to perp walk these senators as well. This was these FISA court records that they just kind of like meander through under the Patriot Act. This is garbage, guys. It's absolute garbage. Leave a comment down below what you want to happen. I believe Jack Smith needs to be in a cell with James Comey and another large individual that was maybe too vicious for the UFC. I think that's who they need for a roommate. And I'll put some money on his commissary account. Let's keep moving. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Grady Judd. I've spent my entire adult life in law enforcement, and I have never heard of one law enforcement agency not helping another when they call for help until this weekend, when a chief of patrol where the Chicago Police Department instructed the police officers not to run in and help their colleagues who were calling for help, who were under attack by a bunch of people clearly violating the law. That's scary. Let me give you the antithesis of that. We had a single man resist ICE agents and get away from them in our community. We sent a helicopter, a drone, K9, and 50 law enforcement officers to surround an area, and we found that guy who violently resisted ICE, and we locked him up in jail where he should have been. If you allow anarchists and criminals to run wild in your community, people will die. People will be shot. Now, let me say this. For other law enforcement leaders across this state and nation, you need to be standing up saying the same exact thing that I am. Because when you have a breakdown of the rule of law, when you allow anarchists, criminals to take over the streets and attack law enforcement officers and then not send them help, that's a slippery slope, a real slippery slope.
This is Grady Judd, sheriff out of Polk County, Florida. And he's talking about what just happened in Chicago, where ICE agents were actually surrounded.